I'm not sure if you're watching the markets, I'm sure you are, but global markets are crashing, or at least declining all over the world. Gold is down sharply, silver's down sharply. As I'm recording this, the Dow and Nasdaq and S&P are down over 2%, and even Bitcoin is below 19,000. But Algorand is up 25% in 5 days and nearly 25% in a month and nearly 20% in 5 days. So what the heck is going on? So before we continue, I want to just tell you how I analyze these things. What I do is I do deep dives on individual crypto projects, and then I monitor them over time. And so when it's a pump and when they're going up sharply, I look to assess whether they're going to stay high, whether the price is going to stay high, or it's going to decline. So now I'm going to show you what I do to assess Algorand and how you can do it too. You can do this at home. Yes, you can try this at home. It's safe. So I'm going to show you some of the websites I use too. I'm going to give away some of my secrets. All right, let's get started. Let's go to the screen. You don't want to look at me all day, right? Okay, here, the first thing is Algorand. This is from Masari. And if you go to the asset page and then you hit profile, under overview, you can read all about Algorand. And basically on the left side here, it says Algorand is scalable, secure, decentralized digital currency and a smart contract platform using the proof of stake consensus or a variation of that. Well, guess what? That's like what I've read for 99% of all top chains. They all basically say the same things for the layer ones. So what I want to show you here is a chart. It's gone up sharply over the last 7 days, and over the last month, like I said, it's gone up quite a bit. It was a low of 29 cents September 18th, and now we're pushing 40. So that's pretty amazing. So what happened? So what we need to do is see, why is Algorand going up so much? And is this news long lasting? So I did a whole bunch of research for you, and I figured there's only really one or maybe two items of news that are pushing up Algorand, and I'm going to show you them right now. But before we go there, I want to show you their ranking. They're ranked number 28th on coinmarket.com, and this includes stablecoins. So I suppose if you take out the stablecoins like Tether, maybe they're ranked number 23 or 24, something like that. So I consider them a top 30 coin, and in my personal ranking, I have them as beating my hurdle rate. Basically, they're a coin that you can invest in because I have a 20 or so factor analysis sheet, which they've ranked okay, and they ranked above many cryptocurrencies, even though they're not the best. So let's go to the reasons why Algorand is doing so well. On May 22nd, May of this year, they announced a deal with the soccer association FIFA. And then on September 22nd, it went live. So that's why Algorand is up so much. And another reason why it's up, and this is kind of related to that probably, is that if you go here, and here's another website I'm going to give you. This is DeFiLlama.com. And this is how you look at TVL, total value locked. And this is how I've noticed that Ethereum's market share declined sharply, but that's for another day. What I talk to you is about Algorand. They're rated 11th. So they're the 11th highest coin in terms of, what did I rate this? In terms of growth. I rated this in 1 month change of total value locked. And as you know or should know, total value locked has been declining substantially. It actually moves with the crypto market. So when crypto prices decline, total value locked also declines. But Algorand has been one of the only coins to actually be going against the trend, the herd. So its TVL is up 20% over 1 month, 70% over 7 days, and 9% over the last day. and its TVL, as you can see my pointers here, its TVL is $255 million. So overall, I'd say that's one of the top performing TVLs. Now you're going to say, why are you saying it's a top performing one if it's number 11? Because other ones have much lower TVL, and to me, these don't even count. So you need to look at TVLs that are in the millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. So really, Algorand is probably top 2, top 3 in this list for TVL growth. It's that good. Like for example, look at number 1, SX. I don't even know what that is. 6 Network. That has 621,000 whatever percent or 6 million percent growth, but look at the TVL. It's nothing. It's really nothing. So you don't even look at those. Those are anomalies. So now that we've got it straightened, we know that Algorand's doing well, and we know that I rate Algorand somewhat highly. We need to see if Algorand's pump is going to continue or it's going to get dumped. So I look at a few things. First of all, I do use technical analysis. This is how I got started. And when I look at it over the last month, or even last 3 months, or even last year, what I noticed is that it has a huge overhead supply, around 40 cents. So I don't think it's going to get much higher than this. That's number 1. Number 2, the macro environment for crypto and all risk assets is negative. And you know what I mean by that. Liquidity is very tight, and it's getting tighter. So there's no way that any risk on asset is going to continue for any length of time, going to continue rising if liquidity is getting tighter. So that's the second negative Algorand. That's why I don't think Algorand is going to continue pumping. And I'm going to give you some other things I'm looking at. Or here's the news on FIFA. You can just get it on Twitter, of course. That's a good place to get news. Okay, I want to talk to you about issues I have with Algorand. Number 1, it doesn't have many nodes or validated, so it's very centralized. That means Gary Gensler and the SEC is going to go after it. SEC is probably going to go after everything and anything, but Algorand, if they don't and they just pick certain projects, Algorand's the top projects to be picked on for this. I think SEC is going to go after them because, like I said, it's very centralized in a few ways. Number 1, it only has a few nodes. Number 2, in a video I watched, they actually mentioned that they can claw back some fees. Basically, they have complete control of the network. The second fundamental issue I don't like is their supply. I just did a video on initial supply and how Ripple was horrible. That Ripple's founders in the project had like 90-something% of the initial supply. In terms of initial supply, Algorand is actually pretty good. If you look here, the founders in the project controlled 25% of the initial supply. So that's actually a fair ICO. So that's good. But I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is the vesting schedule and supply coming on, because there's just too much supply coming on, increasing the circulating supply. And I'm going to show you 2 ways, not 1, but 2 ways you can see that. Number 1, the liquidity supply curve. It's just horrible. And Algorand has something I've never seen before. They don't just have a vesting schedule. They have an accelerating vesting schedule. That means when the price of Algorand hit a certain level, the initial investors, the founders, were able to dump tokens onto the market just because the price reached a certain level. So that now you can understand why, when you go back here, you could see that every time the price of, we can't really see it here, maybe you could see it here. Basically, every time the price of Algorand went up to a certain level, there was dumping. That's because the terms of the accelerated vesting schedule. So that's a real negative. Now, I promised you I would show you 2 ways of seeing liquid supply growth. I could give you 3 ways. This is number 1. Number 2 is here. If you go to the profile page, you can see market cap. The market cap is 2.6 billion, but if you look at the year plus 10 years out market cap, it's up substantially to 3.8. Again, that's showing you there's a lot of supply coming out. So that's the second reason. The third reason is this. This is a chart of the circulating supply, and you can see literally there's a correlation here. As the supplies go up, the price goes down. And remember, at the same time, the vesting schedule allows Algorand's founders and whales to sell and dump Algorand as the price hits certain levels. So you can see how this all comes together. So let's go to some other charts here. Now here's why I'm worried and why I don't think Algorand's going to stay high, why I think it's going to decline. The address count has not been consistent. Now recently the Algorand did well because the addresses improved over the last few weeks. You could see that they improved here. The address count has gone up, but it's nothing. It's been very erratic. And if you go back to 5 years, or maybe that's too much, maybe 1 year, you could see it's been extremely erratic. So you don't have it's almost like when you do regression analysis, you need a good sample size. You don't have a good solid level of addresses or anything, or TVL, where it's increasing at a good rate. And speaking of TVL, one big positive is that this is one of the only projects that has probably only project that has hit a TVL all-time high. But again, you got to be wary when it's still not that high. Like it was nearly 200 million, then it declined to 100. You're not talking about big numbers here. So you're suffering from the law of small numbers or something like that. And here's another big warning sign and red flag. If you remember from earlier videos, I said you gotta double check everything. So if I talked to you about DeFi Llama, showing that the TVL growth looks good. The total value locked growth is good. The dollar amount isn't that shabby. It's pretty good. But then I say to myself, let me double check on DappRadar. And then you go to DappRadar, you pick Algorand, and this is what you see. Most of the balances are 0. And then you look at the total numbers of users, and it's like almost nothing, very few users. So that's very concerning. And now I'm hitting 30 days. That was 7 days. Even if you go to 30 days, you don't have big balances here. So this is a big red flag. And also, one thing I failed to talk to you about is my analysis of Algorand. I found some issues. For example, we talked about nodes, that there's only 100-something nodes and it's very centralized. But I didn't talk to you about Sylvie McCallie, him and his friends. He's got lots of friends. But his friends and buddies are over at universities, governments. And not only are they governmental, but they move like the government, meaning Algorand has been very slow, just like Cardano, very slow to execute on its roadmap or on anything. So it's been very slow, and we're really worried that it's going to be left behind. So that's it for today, and I hope you like this video, and if you do, tell me in the comments and I'll do some more. I have done deep dives on my own, but I haven't published anything. But I like doing these videos because I could get them out really fast, and I could show you how I think and how you could analyze these pumps in crypto, because you got to be very careful. As I said a million times, what these cryptos do is that they either get manipulated, or if they're not getting manipulated, they pump because of news and then they crash again because the underlying fundamentals or macro just are not there. Well, thank you all for listening, and please like us. Bye-bye.